Updating Bitcoin because we've been in the middle of a crash the past several days to weeks. If you've been following my updates across the past several days, we have officially shifted to the red pattern and we've broken a lot of supports. So I've made it very clear I had started exiting many crypto positions, including Ethereum, Ethereum Classic, EOS. I actually exited all my short-term to intermediate-term positions. However, I do continue to hold on to some of the longer-term positions because while we're in a short-term bear market, I do expect the long-term bull to continue, but not without some pain in the near term. This is our 2-hour linear chart, and of course, feel free to follow along. I'll post links in the description below for these charts. We have entered our target range box for this 5-wave impulse down, which I was calling the first wave or larger wave C. So if we are following this red pattern still, I would expect a quick turnaround very soon before we get to this bottom of the support. And that falls right around 32,768. So if we break that, we're very likely going to go down the purple pattern, which we'll take a look at in just a second. And I'm actually going to shift these over because the bottom of the red pattern would be down here somewhere. And our A and our B would look something like this. This would be a 3-wave correction back up. So taking a look at our short-term logarithmic chart, this, of course, counts a bit differently because of the logarithmic scale. And I'm going to declutter this a little bit to make it more clear. And the shape does look a little different because of the distortion of linear versus logarithmic charts. We have our green pattern, which technically has invalidated because, well, technically it doesn't really invalidate until we get all the way down to the 28,800 mark, something like that. But I set a support at 35,500, which we have broken well below. And we're actually sitting at about 35,003, although we have gone as low as the low $34,000 range. So our green pattern is holding on by a thread, but in Elliott Wave Theory, you can retrace the entire length of your first wave without invalidating the bullish setup. But as you get that low, you're losing profit, and it makes it more likely that we're not going to get the upside. So therefore, the green is an alternate pattern. It's not officially invalidated, but the red has been my primary. But I've actually added another pattern to this chart. This is the purple pattern, which is not visible in the other chart as easily. But here, just shifted out of that. We are looking at this spike down December 3rd as potentially the first wave of a much bigger correction. And this bounce back, a second wave that ended on December 27th. And then we've crashed down pretty hard ever since. This would be basically, it's kind of like it could be a diagonal pattern depending on where the fourth wave goes, but it would be an ending diagonal. And that would call for, based on this 1 and this 2, we would be seeing a third wave take us down to the $31,000 to $28,000 range, and we're well on our way there. I don't see any signs of us turning around just yet. We are pretty oversold, but I would fully expect us to follow through all the way down to at least $31,700, somewhere within this range. That's where your standard target would be for a third wave within an ending diagonal. You'd probably see a very sharp bounce in the fourth wave, much like what we saw back here with what I'm calling the second wave of this purple pattern. And then our final low would fall somewhere in that lower $20,000 range. And in that situation, we would be looking at potentially, honestly, the targets would be about the same. So regardless of how you cut it, if we're going to have that green pattern go off, we need to see a quick turnaround real quick. Otherwise, we're very likely following the purple pattern. Once we get low enough, it'll be too stretched for the red pattern to be valid by that point. So I'd probably give it about, let's see, if I had to pick a number, maybe about $30,000. If we get to that point, break that, the red pattern is officially dead because that would be way too stretched to be the red pattern. Otherwise, if we have a quick turnaround right away, ASAP, then there's a chance the red pattern is still in operation. So very well may be that we still get that gentleman's exit if you are still holding and you're looking for a better place to exit. Now, I did note here that the red pattern, if we turn around, would actually be an ending diagonal. And the reason for that is that we've stretched so low that would be an oversized first wave. And if you have a really sharp pullback at first, especially in this really almost 3-wave kind of style, it follows the criteria that you're looking for within an ending diagonal, or in this case, it would be an ending diagonal, not a leading diagonal. You'd expect a sharp pullback, 3-wave correction, and then each of your subsequent moves would be in 3-wave form. You'd have another fourth wave that would also bounce pretty high, probably all the way back up to support. And then you'd have a much lower low potentially. Again, it's not completely obvious. These are just fibs that I've calculated based on what we are seeing so far. I don't see that as a huge possibility right now, just because, again, we're getting really stretched with first wave. So purple is primary, and I'll keep you guys updated. So don't forget to subscribe if you want to keep getting my updates. And until next time, thank you for watching and happy trading.